We're now streaming live on YouTube, Chairman.
Thank you. So can I welcome councillors and officers and members of the public, if anyone is watching, to this Executive Board meeting for East Lindsey District Council. I believe we're all here that needs to be here. So do we have any apologies for absence, Anne, please?
No apologies, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Disclosures of any interest? Councillor Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's just that I am a resident of Horncastle, so item 5, I just wanted to say I'm also a trustee of Age UK Lindsey, and they're based in Horncastle, as colleagues will know, and they have a shop in the town. And I'm also a member of the Horncastle Heritage Society. I'm a member of the Sir Joseph Banks Society. They own property in the town. They have a museum and soon to have a shop. So I just wanted to declare that.
Okay, thank you. I don't think there's any difficulty in you taking part in the meeting, though, just on the basis of those involvement.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't think so, no. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, no other declarations. We move on to the minutes of the last meeting. To confirm the open exempt minutes of the meeting held on the 31st of March. Any comments on those? Any changes needed? So I propose that we accept them. Could I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, I'll second those, Chairman.
Okay, can I just have a show of hands that we all accept those, and we'll pass those as given. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to the action sheets. Rob, anything to add to that?
No, just as shown. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. So key decisions, there's none to be taken. Key decisions item to be recommended to the council, none. And then we move on to agenda 5, which is a non-key decision. It's the High Street Task Force support. The report is before us. Councillor Grist, I believe this is your paper to present.
Yeah, it is. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so it's a fairly short paper, which everyone has hopefully seen and had a chance to read. And the Appendix A, is the CLG document, which sort of started this off. So good news, another government initiative to support the high street and to support market towns. And as you'll see from the paper, we're one of 70 local authorities who have been chosen to receive this support, this High Street Task Force support, and that's intended to help communities transform the high street, regenerate the high street. So it dovetails very nicely into the work that we've been doing on the vital and viable work across the market towns. So it wasn't really a difficult decision to buy into this from my point of view. The only tricky decision, if you like, if there was one, was to decide where to pump for, because as you'll see from the paper, we had to nominate one location in the district and one only. So we've after a little bit of head scratching and deliberation, we've decided to go with Horncastle. That's not because I knew Fiona would be on the meeting, on the call this evening. There are actually some good reasons as to why. Obviously, we have an action plan associated with each market town. 5 market towns now, because if you recall, we're including Wainfleet now in the vital and viable work. Louth's had quite a lot of attention. The action plan is sort of fairly well progressed, and there's a few things going on in Louth anyway. Spilsby, Alford and Wainfleet, for differing reasons, we didn't think were probably suitable for this funding at this time. So that didn't leave Horncastle by default. It just made sense to go with Horncastle, because where Horncastle is, where Horncastle wants to be, and the type of groups and individual people involved in Horncastle. So as the paper alludes to, there's quite an active business group or business groups in Horncastle now, and the kind of thing that this funding is looking to support so complements that and where they are at the moment. So that's why we went with Horncastle. there's a great deal of enthusiasm on the ground to move the town forward as we exit lockdown and look to get the economy moving again. And the kind of package that this particular funding stream is offering just seems absolutely right for Horncastle at this juncture. So that's why why officers and myself have agreed with that. You'll note also from the report that Victoria Atkins, the Member of Parliament, has been consulted, and she's obviously very supportive of this initiative too. So the recommendation this evening is set out on page 1 of the report, page 19 of our agenda, and that's to approve that we move Horncastle forward with this High Street Task Force fund. There's probably a few questions in terms of timing and what it actually means in practice, and I don't have all the answers for that this evening. I think it's a case this evening of just sort of signing this off, saying yes to this initiative, and I think some of the many questions that flow from it we can answer in the next few weeks and months as this sort of moves forward. But happy to take questions, and I'll do my best to answer them if I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from colleagues? I certainly welcome the initiative. Councillor Beauford.
Thank you. No, it's really good initiative and really exciting that Horncastle's been chosen over Wainfleet. I'm absolutely ecstatic. But no, I wasn't expecting Wainfleet to be chosen, not yet anyway. But could I just ask, Adam, if Wainfleet could be included in the papers now? Because obviously I know we have been chosen as the 5th market town, and the exec board and officers do. But if Wainfleet was reading this, they wouldn't know they were part of it. So could we be included in the wording of it as such? I know Elisa has been on a phone call with our clerk today, so he's obviously aware as well. But it would be nice just to see Wainfleet there to be included. Thank you. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you. Adam, do you want to come back on that?
Yeah, can do. Yes, Wendy, of course. Yeah, I mean, I noticed actually this report does refer to 4 market towns, and that was something I had picked up on, and I'll speak to the office about. But as you've just said, Wendy, we are in practice dealing with 5 market towns now, and trying to get Wainfleet fast track to catch up with the others. And I hope you agree that we're doing our best to do that. But yeah, you're right. I think the reference needs to be for the 5 now rather than the 4, and we all need to remember that.
I won't let you forget it. Don't worry. I'll remind you.
I sense not. Okay, Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, welcome this paper. Clearly, the towns that have not been successful will be disappointed when they hear what's going to happen, and will feel disadvantaged again. I think the best way, and all the right reasons, that Horncastle has been chosen without any doubt at all. I fully support it. But what I would ask is that when we get the levelling money, that the other market towns, and I beg to just hedge them a bit, so to say there's actually 6 market towns, because there's the Winters from Maidenthorpe. They class themselves as a market town, although I don't really see how they can't have a market town and a seaside town. They've got to choose. But the levelling up fund, I think, is important, that the other market towns feel as if they are maybe not the front carriage, but certainly on the train journey with the rest of them. I wish Horncastle all the best, and I think it's an exciting project. And anything the rest of us can do to spread it out, to make it a web that covers all the market towns, but take the lead from what Horncastle does and how it works, is going to be a good thing. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a difficult one in terms of how this has been structured from MHCLG. I think the wider comments as well about the levelling up fund are going to be important in this, because that is, there's the potential schemes will be capturing the other market towns in a wider project, and hopefully we'll hear more on that later. But it is, it has been a difficult thing to do to get to this point. Councillor Gray, thanks, Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you can imagine, yes, I'm very supportive of this initiative. It's a great opportunity for Horncastle. As Adam said, the Vital and Viable workshops were well received and they were very constructive and they were very well attended. I attended them all and there was a great response from businesses and voluntary organisations in the town. I know our ED team has already been doing work in the town and continue to do work in the town. And the support from this programme will just galvanise and expand those opportunities. I hope that we get a trade association formed out of this because there's been lots of support for that and there's been lots of talk about that, but it hasn't come into fruition yet. So let's hope that happens. But more importantly, I just want us to make sure that we're involving our ward councillors. Councillor Fiona Martin, she's with us tonight, Councillor Campbell-Waldman, Councillor Averson. They do a great amount of work in the town. And then often they get a bit of stick from certain town councils and certain individuals in the town of Horncastle that, what do? Well, I know they do a huge amount of work. So I think it's very valuable that we involve them and they have a lot of local knowledge and we use their local knowledge and we use them on the ground because they have a great to contribute to this. But no, very, very, very supportive of it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I think you make the points well. Adam, do you want to just come back on that?
Yeah, can do. Well, I wholeheartedly agree with what Williams just said. And just to pick up on Graham's comments, I mean, I kind of knew this conversation would happen. It's incredibly difficult. That we've tried to be fair across the district, and unfortunately, this funding has made us choose one town above the others. But as has been mentioned, we've got the levelling up funding potentially. There are other funding streams that that we're looking at. So certainly my intention to ensure that no town is left behind. In fact, I mean, if you read the report, one of the reasons we've gone with Horncastle and not Alford, for example, is because Alford does have quite an active community volunteer network and traders working very closely together. The initiatives they've done over the years in terms of the craft festival, and they're keen to get that going again. Horncastle isn't quite there yet. There's enthusiasm, but there isn't quite that coming together, which is why we decided that Horncastle would probably benefit from this more than the other towns. But yeah, I'm very, very mindful that everyone needs to be on the journey together. I think Graham's analogy was quite a good one, really. It doesn't really matter who's at the front of on the train, as long as all the carriages are moving down the track at the same pace, then we're moving the right way.
Thank you. Councillor Kirk.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thoroughly support this paper. I would certainly echo the comments that Councillor Griss just made. When I'm in and around Horncastle, I see so much potential there. There's so much opportunity for growth and so much. It can go to the next level quite easily. And I just think this little bit of input that they're going to get, this help and support, this expert advice will be just what's needed, just to pull a piece of the jigsaw together, because there's no doubt that Horncastle is a great town, but it could be a fantastic little cracking market town with a fantastic atmosphere going, and it just needs that help and advice. And all I'd say to Councillor Marsh regarding Mablethorpe, it all depends how you see it, Councillor Marsh. Is it a market town by the sea or a seaside town that has a market? It all depends which side your bread's buttered on, doesn't it?
Yeah, is Councillor Howard on the call this evening? No, he's not. Okay, but we'll move swiftly on. Councillor Marsh, is that a legacy hand? Councillor Marsh, sorry, is that a legacy hand? Yeah, okay. We were hoping that Lydia Rusling would be on the call from another meeting. Lydia, have you got anything to add? Because I think there's been quite a few comments about all the work that needs to happen across all the market towns, and I know you're very involved and have a good knowledge of the funding landscape that's out there.
Thank you, Councillor Leyland. I'm really keen to get across that this is a really great opportunity for the team to learn from the High Street Task Force team, and that direct link to government, and to ensure that we draw down that expertise. So it's not just Horncastle that benefits, it actually benefits all the towns and places across the area. So I'm really keen for us to take this opportunity now. And although it's focused on Horncastle, I could see this being rolled out through our Vital and Viable programme to all the places, so they all see the benefit for this. What I don't want to do is lose the opportunity, because I think this is very much a good basis for future funding opportunities and how they will support us in applying for those future funding opportunities, not just levelling up, but other ideas for the future to support the recovery as well. So that it's very closely aligned with COVID recovery.
That's helpful. Thank you. Rob, you had your hand raised. I'm assuming that now Lydia's contributed. Have you got anything to add?
Just one thing, if I may, Leader. Just to make everybody aware that whatever decision you make tonight, we are being pressed to confirm it to central government immediately. And on that basis, it becomes an urgent decision. So we will just need to seek approval from the Chair of Council.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Martin, I know you're observing the meeting. Would you like to make any comment as one of the Horncastle board members?
Thank you, Chairman. I mean, I think Councillor Gray has said most of the things that I was going to say, to be honest, but as ward members, when we read the paper, we welcomed what was being proposed, but we would like to be fully involved, please, if possible, because as Councillor Gray eloquently said, we have recently had quite a lot of criticism for not doing anything and not closing St Lawrence Street. And I know you're aware because you've been copied in on a lot of the correspondence. So it would be good to have the opportunity to put out a positive story that we can take the lead and initiative on, rather than just feel that we're playing catch up, really. But this is really good news for Horncastle, and I welcome it and look forward to doing, as Lydia said, and learning the lessons that can be rolled out to other towns in East Lindsey as well.
Thank you, Councillor. I think you make a very good point about the work that you and your colleagues do. I think the criticism that you've taken over the last few months has been totally unfair and unjustified. And having been seen the emails and the unnecessarily pointed remarks that have been made, and quite nasty comments, to be honest, I think it's totally undeserved and doesn't represent the reality in real life. So your points are well made. Okay, so this is before us. It's been proposed by Councillor Grist. Who would like to second it?
Yeah, I would be happy to second this one, Chairman.
Thank you. So it's proposed and seconded, so we'll go through the voting. Councillor Ashton.
4.
Councillor Beaufort.
4.
Councillor Foster.
4.
Councillor Fry.
4.
Councillor Gray.
4.
Councillor Grist.
Unsurprisingly, 4.
Councillor Kirk.
4.
Myself, I will fully support. And Councillor Marsh.
4.
So that is fully supported by the Exec Board. So, Rob, this needs to go before the Chairman just to approve, and we can get it on its way, which is excellent news. So thank you for everyone's contribution. We now move on to procurement exemption. This is just for noting, and this relates to building control regulation. As I say, it's just for noting. Are there any comments from colleagues? The paper's before us. I'm assuming there isn't. So whatever needs to happen to that, Rob, to progress, then we take it forward. Councillor Kirk.
Yeah, just a quick question. It's an obvious question, but just for clarification, I'm assuming that we're carrying these empty posts just because we can't appoint, not for any other reason.
Yeah, that getting nodding heads from Robert.
The nodding of the head is all I needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, fair point though. Okay, so that's for noting. We now move to exempt information, none, and the date of the next meeting is the 2nd of June. Have we got an indication about where we are with the real meetings? I understand there was a judgment today in respect of the challenge that was given to the change.
Yes, that's correct, Leader. It won't be possible to hold virtual meetings after the 7th of May.
In respect of decision-making meetings?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Oh, well, at least that is clarity. All right. Thank you for everyone's time. Could I just ask exec board members just to wait on receiving a text from me, because I just want to have a word about one or two things after the meeting. I'll send you something through on the WhatsApp page. So can I thank everyone for their attendance, officers, Councillor Martin, thank you. And we'll see you all shortly.